Former Senator Kyrsten Sinema just made a humiliating return to the headlines, and the woman who repeatedly betrayed her own party and the nation looks like she's about to get one heck of a dragging. And when you find out why, prepare to stifle laughter. This is The David Reddish Show. Welcome to the show, Occupy Democrats viewers. Once again, in case you hadn't heard, Occupy Democrats spun me off to my own channel with my own show as part of establishing a new YouTube network. So, if you like my reports, my dry wit, my fashion sense, or anything else, make sure to subscribe to the David Reddish Show channel by following the link in the description. Not only will you stay up to date on all breaking news, but you'll help me afford my rent. So okay, let's get to our breaking story. Kyrsten Sinema. If the name makes you break out in a rash or, at the very least, shudder with rage, there is good reason why. Recall that the former Arizona senator, a Democrat, at least at first, helped stymie Joe Biden's agenda at every turn with votes like these.
President Joe Biden went to the Senate Thursday, making his case to change the filibuster rules in order to circumvent Republicans and pass the voting rights legislation.
It's about election subversion. Not just whether or not people get to vote. Who counts the vote? That's what this is about. That's what makes this so different than anything else we've ever done.
The senator from Arizona.
Standing in his way is Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema. Sinema renewed her support for the voting rights legislation, but she will not change her mind on changing the filibuster.
These bills help treat the symptoms of the disease, but they do not fully address the disease itself.
Or, always one to crave attention, remember when Sinema did this?
We begin in Washington, where Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema says that she is leaving the Democratic Party and is registered as an independent. She's making the stunning move just days after Georgia Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock won his crucial re-election bid. Senator Sinema spoke with CNN about why she made the decision.
I've registered as an Arizona independent. I know some people might be a little bit surprised by this, but actually, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, a growing number of Arizonans and people like me just don't feel like we fit neatly into one party's box or the other.
It's almost like Kyrsten Sinema wanted to hurt Democrats, or at the very least, she would do anything for attention no matter how damaging to the Democratic agenda or the people of Arizona in the long run. And if she seemed like an attention whore before, stay tuned. Sinema retired from the Senate last year after years of her obstructionism, and even amid the mire of Donald Trump, Democrats breathed a sigh of relief. She was succeeded by the wonderful Ruben Gallego, and it looked like Sinema was going to retreat into the shadows and let us all move on with our lives. Well, just like a bad rash, Sinema has returned to the headlines, although this time, it feels like some kind of cosmic retribution for her putting her own vanity ahead of working for Americans. Check this out. Both Law 360 and New York Magazine now report that Sinema has become the target of a rare lawsuit in North Carolina that alleges, quote, intentional and malicious interference, end quote, in the marriage of Sinema's former bodyguard, Matthew Amell, and his wife, Heather Amell. Heather Amell, who filed the suit, is seeking $25,000 in damages against Sinema, who now works as a cryptocurrency lobbyist. Ever classy, that Kyrsten. According to Heather Amell, in 2024, she discovered messages from Sinema to Matthew Amell of a romantic nature. That includes photos of Sinema wrapped in a towel and texts between the two in which Sinema called the idea of having missionary sex, quote, boring. Matthew Amell and Kyrsten Sinema are known to have attended numerous functions together, including concerts, and Amell actually stopped wearing his wedding ring to avoid drawing attention to Sinema having an affair with a married man. The suit also claims Matthew Amell suffers from PTSD, and Sinema was encouraging to take psychedelic drugs, even going so far as to pay for them to treat Amell's condition. At the time of this report, Kyrsten Sinema has not commented on the lawsuit or her alleged affair with Matthew Amell. Matthew and Heather Amell divorced last year, and part of what makes this lawsuit so unusual, besides it being filed against a narcissistic former senator, is that in affair situations like this one, it's rare for a former spouse to actually seek financial damages against the other woman. I mean, come on. If Melania filed lawsuits against every woman that Donald Trump has had affairs with, it would be its own cottage industry at this point. Well, Kyrsten, you got your wish. You have our attention again, only this time we don't have to care. Good luck in court, and please, when you're done, be a dear and leave us all in peace. This is The David Reddish Show.